Evening, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. There's Bugsy Malone, slightly in front on the charge. This is episode... you know what? I thought yesterday's one, or the last one, was 242. People in the comments saying it's nothing like 242. It's far bigger than that. I don't know where we're at. Let's call it 246, shall we? How are you? Welcome back. Please hit the like button for me like you always do. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this one. And this one is probably going to offend some of you, because you might put it down to clickbait journalism and clickbait content creation, and it's not intended to be. I'm not a journalist. I'm just reporting what's in the news. If it's pertinent to me, it's pertinent to you. I want to put it out there, get the views and the clues as far as I can see it. And this one, look, in terms of digital print, only Team Talk and Caught Offside are referencing it. However, they reference that it comes from the paper version of the Sun and it's on page 67 of Saturday's Sun. I can't find it in the online version, but you know what, the story's just too juicy to not give a little bit of a thought process around it, and that is that Tottenham are willing to smash their transfer record for Fulham star PALHINHA. Guys, listen, when you read something like that, I apologise in advance. You can click off if you want. Maybe it's not for you, this one. But I can't help but go, please, whoever wrote it in the Sun, please let there be some element of truth and integrity to what you're saying, because it would be perfect. If you've been watching this channel for a little while, then you will know how much of a priority I think it is to have someone who can play in the six, who's an absolute monster. I've been saying it for months and months and months, and I don't think that Bissouma is the guy. I'm happy if he plays the role. I think he's a good enough guy. I like Bissouma. I love Bissouma as a player. I feel like he is going to be considered, in my mind at least, a new signing this season, and I have absolutely no doubts that he will smash it. I really do think he will have, well, certainly the best season in a Tottenham shirt, because last season was one to chalk off. But for a bunch of reasons, I think tactically, formationally, and from a squad depth perspective, I really worry if he is the only real relevant six that we have. And you know how, if you have been watching this channel, you know how I feel about other names that are out there. Manuel Ugarte was my number one. I've loved him for a long time. I think he would be an absolute superstar in the Premier League. He has gone to PSG and taken his horrendous disciplinary record with him, but he is a fantastic player. Absent him, take him off. All of the other names that I talk about very frequently and very often, like Sofiane Amrabat or Frank Kessie, players that I think could come in and be a good part of a squad rotation in the six. And if they can come in, then at least for the first 6 months or first half of the season, whilst Bentancur is recovering from injury, that doesn't mean that Bissouma and that particular player have to be fighting for one position. There's absolutely enough space to be able to get both a proper number six in. You can put Bissouma in the first 8 and then let Maddison take over the second 8/10 and work magic. Whether it's Amrabat or whether it's Kessie or whether it's someone else, and there's loads of others that we've spoken about. I'm a big fan of Locatelli in Italy. I think he's a brilliant player, someone that a lot of European clubs are sleeping on, and I think, you know, the selling club there are desperate for money, Juventus. So, like, I don't know why there's not more links for him. But listen, for me, the number one, the absolute number one that's really going to leave Fulham at some point and move on is PALHINHA. He's an absolute monster, an absolute beast. He's fantastic with the ball at his feet. He's fantastic in the air. He's fantastic as a tackler. His disciplinary record isn't horrendous. For me, he is the next whoever. He could be Tottenham's Casemiro. He could be Tottenham's Rodri. To me, when I read a story like PALHINHA to Tottenham willing to smash the transfer record, I don't care who writes it. I don't care if Bugsy Malone writes it. My ears prick up and I get excited, and I can't help but have to report this to you. I'm probably going to give it a credibility rating of 2 out of 10. But is it plausible? Let's talk about that for a split second. 90 million First of all, is that a reasonable figure? Well, let's start with the basics. He joined Fulham from Sporting for 20 million last summer. Is it reasonable, despite his wonderful season, to put a 4.5x on his or Fulham's potential profit? I would say no. Fulham would say yes, and they would base that on the fact that Declan Rice has just essentially agreed a £105 million deal to go to Arsenal. Is Rice and PALHINHA a relatively equivalent valuation? I would say no. I think there's the English tax on Rice. I also think that Arsenal have massively overpaid for Declan Rice. I think that Arsenal were desperate to try to find a way to not limit or weaken their brilliant midfield three from last year of Odegaard, Xhaka and Thomas Partey. And with the likes of Thomas Partey and Xhaka both leaving, it's going to be very difficult for Arsenal to find any midfield three that is of the same level as what they had last season. Declan Rice is a good step in that direction. However, Declan Rice has never played super high possession football and is not really known for being a technically great footballer. So I think personally, whilst he's a good player, a very good player, and it's a good signing, I think the valuation is massively punchy, and it will be interesting to see how he adapts. Now, how do Arsenal kind of fill that second hole that's going to be held by Xhaka's absence or Partey's absence, whoever you think Declan Rice is replacing? Then maybe they're going to turn to Lavia from Southampton. But in any event, are they still realistically going to have, either with Lavia or even just with Jorginho, are they going to be able to recreate the midfield three? For me, I don't necessarily think they will, but that's besides the point. I'm getting off the topic. Get back to the topic. Tottenham is where the topic was at, and that is about PALHINHA. And I think that at 90 million quid, Fulham are over egging the pudding. 65 million quid I think would be a decent return for Fulham. I think he doesn't have the English tax. What he does have is incredible utility, incredible versatility, and he's an incredible talent. There'll be a lot of clubs that will come in for him surely at some point this summer. I'd be surprised if he stays at Fulham. We know that West Ham are interested in him. If there's credibility to those links, that West Ham could actually attract PALHINHA and turn his head from Fulham, is that just because of Europe, or is it because PALHINHA doesn't really mind, moving on, getting paid more money? What's the story there? I'm not entirely sure. But listen, if he can go to West Ham, he can come to Tottenham. Can Tottenham really realistically pay 60 million, 65 million, or God forbid the actual full asking price, which is 95 million for PALHINHA? Absolutely not. It would smash the record. We know the record was about 60 for Ndombele, and we know how that worked out. And we also know how Richarlison, who was our second highest player, has worked out. We also know how people like Sanchez and Lo Celso, and to a degree Romero, have worked out. Like, our biggest spend have never really generated our biggest returns. But with PALHINHA, there is an angle I think that Tottenham could look to utilise. Tottenham, if we are looking to offload Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and the rumours are there that he might go to Atletico Madrid, why not sell him to Fulham? Does Højbjerg fit the Fulham system? A 4-2-3-1? I think he does. I think, alongside Harrison Reed, I think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg wouldn't look out of place at all. I don't think he would look out of place at all. And if Højbjerg is valued at sort of 25, 30, 35 million, depending on who you ask, then is there a way that Tottenham could do a deal and do a swapsies plus cash for PALHINHA? Neither player needs to move home. Everyone's happy. Tottenham get the player that we need to sit in the 6. Bissouma that can then work in the 8. Waiting for Bentancur to get back to full fitness. When Bentancur is back to full fitness, you have options, you have dynamism, you have utility, you have versatility. To me, this isn't something to just ignore or overlook. Whether or not Team Talk and The Sun, who apparently wrote the initial article, whether they're just making it up, just as a concept, PALHINHA to Tottenham makes so much sense to me. And if we could get that done alongside, not in place of, but alongside getting those 2 centre backs and getting 1 forward in place, come on guys, come on, this would be a dream transfer window. There is no, in my opinion, better available, number 6, that is more I don't know, realistic than João PALHINHA. He's going to go somewhere. I'd be amazed if he stays at Fulham. Excuse me. To move to West Ham would be a sideways step. To stay in London would be logical. How else can we make it work financially? Do Fulham need any of the other players that we're trying to get rid of? Do Fulham really need an Ndombele or a Lo Celso? I would argue no. Lo Celso is very much a midfielder. He's very much an 8. I don't think he can fit on the width. Fulham, I would say, need to replace wide guys. They probably need someone to replace Manor Solomon if he's going to leave, because he was only signed on a loan anyway. They haven't as yet locked down Willian for any longer a contract period. So the only the only person that they would need to replace if PALHINHA leaves is PALHINHA, and then wide players. And Tottenham really don't have any wide players that we can offer Fulham. So I'm not going to sit here and try and get incredibly creative and suggest that we can get the PALHINHA deal down to 5 million plus 2 or 3 players, because I don't think we can. But I do think that Pierre Højbjerg can work in the Fulham system. I think it makes a lot of sense next to Harrison Reed. You've got the 3 in front of them that will be able to offer their defensive efforts. Højbjerg and PALHINHA is not a complete man-for-man replacement, but it's not a bad little swapsy. So could we do 30 million plus Højbjerg and then 10 million in add-ons? And if we do that, we get a player off the books who has been a great servant for Tottenham and will do really well for Fulham. And I think he'd be open to the move. PALHINHA can come to Tottenham and be a part of something special. Bissouma can sit in, excuse my coughing, as the 8, waiting for Bentancur to come back with Maddison up top. And guys, if we can get that done, plus bring in Tapsoba, bring in Tosin at the same time, a double swoop from Fulham potentially. How about that? A double swoop. Send Tanganga the other direction. Or maybe Sanchez. Maybe we could do half the business we need to do with Fulham. We'll take Tosin and PALHINHA. You take Tanganga, Sanchez and Højbjerg plus some money. And it could be a winner-winner chicken dinner for everyone. Guys, I'm sorry for calling it out. I'm sorry if the thumbnail makes it look like it's clickbait. It's not supposed to be. I would never normally dive into a bit of a ridiculous link. I haven't even read the article from The Sun, but apparently it's there in the physical version. But when you hear the words PALHINHA to Tottenham and that Postecoglou has asked for PALHINHA to happen and that Tottenham might smash the transfer record, you have to do a little talkies about it. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Is it plausible? Is it possible? Is it realistic? Or am I shameless for even mentioning it? Like, subscribe and comment, guys, and I wish you a lovely evening. And as always, bye-bye.